podcasts? Of course you do. You're listening to a podcast right now. What about getting paid to listen to podcasts? Well, now you can. Sign up at podcoin.com and get paid to listen to your favorite podcasts. It's free. Get paid to listen, save up your pod coins, cash them in for prices like Amazon or Starbucks gift cards. Or you can donate to charity like we do. Use our offer code SUPERPOD to get 300 pod coins on us. It's available in the App Store and on Android. It's the only way that we listen to podcasts now, and it could change the way that you listen to podcasts. Now on with the show. This podcast is part of the Big Heads Media Podcast Network. Go to bigheadsmedia.com for more great podcasts.
Oh, hey everybody, it's me, Cool Cat. Yay! And you're listening to the Super Media Brothers podcast with me, Cool Cat. Yay! And guess what? The cat is out of the bag. And you know what? There's not going to be any bullying here.
Roll credits.
So before we get into everything we're going to get into, because there's a lot to unpack, we have to ask you, are you under any kind of non-disclosure agreement, or are you under any kind of contract that's going to prevent you from talking about anything we're discussing today?
No non-disclosure, no contract, nothing.
Sounds good. So now we begin. All right, cool. So everybody that's listening knows why they're here. You know why you're here. We know why all three of us are here.
Right.
So you spent the better part, and just from our guesstimation, because, filming time kind of gets clunky, which we'll get into. Like, you spent the better part of about 5 or 6 years being attached to this franchise, including, like, the Christmas parade, the Stops Bullying, Save the Kids, all that stuff. Now, how did you first become involved with all of it? Like, where did you and Eric Garbage first meet?
I originally got in contact with Eric Garbage. I had submitted for the part online. For anybody that does not know this, pretty much every bit of acting submission is done online. Whether you have an agent or a manager, even they still submit your headshot and resume, links to your demo reels and stuff like that, all online. So I had submitted to the project online. This was probably mid-March of 2012. I had gotten a call from Eric Garbage, and I was actually at an audition, and he had explained to me about the part, and he said, I got your info, I think you'd be good for it, and he asked me where I was at, and I was actually not too far from where we met, so we met up at a popular coffee shop in North Hollywood.
Wonder what this is.
And then that's when we started, he started talking to me about the original project, which was Cool Cat Stops Bullying. That was the original project with Vivica and Eric, and that was the only time they ever worked one day on set.
Oh, wow. One day. So,
yep.
That's the way it comes about. It seems like there's so much more, and just, I mean, we'll get into that later, like as we roll through this timeline of junk. But dude, wow, like,
yeah, pretty crazy.
Yeah, so he already he already had all this.
Barely a 10-hour day.
Oh my god! So he already had all this in mind.
I just don't understand how you can get like so much done in such a little amount of time, but I don't know.
Well, what happened was he had got all of the main footage shot that one day, and plus, since he had the kids, you have to work quickly. He did two more days just with me alone. What's called pickup shots. For those of you that don't know, pickup shots are basically when you do reshoots. Let's say that you forget to get a close up of an actor, or maybe a reverse angle of a particular conversation, particular scene, just stuff like that. So all of those pickup days that I did on that original shoot of Cool Cat Stops Bullying was just literally, I was the only actor there, and it was just close-ups of me in the outfit, just saying the lines, and that was pretty much it.
So, yeah, go ahead.
And what happened was, when I originally met with Eric Garbage, he was looking for someone to just be in the suit. He had made it very clear up front that he was going to do the voice of the character.
No.
And he was just looking for somebody to be in the outfit and do the voice.
No, you do not want to know Derek Savage doing the voice of Cool Cat. I know he created him, but no. No.
For me, I really wanted to have him keep my voice in there, because the thing that made the part so attractive was he told me on the phone and at that meeting when I met him later that day that Vivica and Eric were going to be in it. And at that time period as an actor, I had never had a scene with name actors like that. I had worked with name actors but never had scenes with them. They were in other scenes and I just wasn't in there with them. So just being able to get all that to flow for me as an actor at the time, that was like, wow, it's like this would be good. It's like I really want to do this. So yeah, so that just got us off and rolling on that. He didn't know I officially had the part for probably about another week or so. He said that he was actually looking at somebody else. Actually, he said he was looking at a girl to actually originally be in there.
What? So, a girl to be in the Cool Cat suit, which was clearly a male character? Okay. What, was Derek trying to take advice from what they did in behind the scenes of shooting for Power Rangers? When they had a girl in the Alpha 5 costume, but it was dubbed over with a guy's voice? Oh boy. I don't know exactly why that was done, but just in my perspective, it would have saved a lot of money just to have whoever does the voice of Alpha also be in the costume. Same here with Cool Cat. Which, yes, he does end up doing, but why would he even think that?
In the outfit, so I don't really know too much about that at all. So who knows if he was BSing me or not? So I have no idea.
Now, before y'all started doing anything when it comes to the films, did he get you to sign any kind of contract or any kind of agreement before the films arose?
Nope, nothing like that. In fact, just so listeners know, all of these were done non-union, also too. So there was not even any contract with the Screen Actors Guild or anything like that either.
Okay. And before you get the wrong idea, I'm not trying to belittle, some jobs that actually are like this. I'm not saying that I'm not saying that non-union jobs are not legit or anything like that. All I'm saying is that, especially in terms of, working with the Hollywood system or acting or, just doing this type of field of work in general, you gotta be really careful when no union is involved. Just a bit of caution. Because anything could possibly happen to you when that union is not involved with the line of employment. Oh boy.
So basically just a gentleman's handshake, if you want to call it that.
Basically, literally.
Yeah.
Literally, yeah. In fact, too, there was no even check stubs. Every payment was either cash or handwritten check.
So personal, yeah. Extremely under the table. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So all that meeting and everything that you just mentioned, we'll go into 2012. So this, we would assume, is the Hollywood parade and the stops bullying stuff, because those first three films kind of happened around the same time, and we've said before that a lot of the same footage gets used. So being on set for the first time with everything, how was that? How was it being on set filming all that stuff for the very first time?
It was kind of nerve-wracking a little bit at first, because my main concentration was trying to find the right voice as I'm sitting there trying to work everything on set, going over my lines just so he'd keep the voice. And then I had this kind of it was kind of a sticky situation, in the sense of the original script has had a lot of run-on sentences and just a lot of grammatical errors. So it was kind of nerve-wracking in that sense of just what, this is kind of strange.
That's not surprising. If anybody has heard Eric talk before, it's not surprising.
Right.
It's like how do you take it professionally when you can't even read what you're looking at?
That's why proofreaders are so important.
So that was definitely kind of difficult. But once he had told me, it was about halfway through the shoot day, that first shoot day, he said he said he really liked the voice, and he said he was probably going to keep it. And he told me a couple of times, and a couple other people had commented about how they liked it. So the last part of the day, I felt a lot more confident. I felt, it was easier to get into and whatnot. But it was still difficult. It was a hot day. It was my first time in the outfit. That was my first time rehearsing with the kids. That was the first time that everybody was together. And also, too, I don't know if anyone knows this, but that was the very first time that Eric Garbage ever directed anything. He was completely green.
Oh yeah. Wow.
So it was kind of interesting.
Was he green like the Grinch or the Hulk? Little joke there. Although I guess I'm a couple of seasons early for the Grinch one.
Compared to all the other shoots on all the other films, strangely enough, the first shoot was actually probably the most professional, because it had the biggest crew there.
Mm-hmm.
And so he actually had
people there. So he actually had people there, more than just him.
He did. Okay, yeah, he did. And actually, too, he had in industry terms an AD, which is short for an assistant director.
Mm-hmm.
And for people that don't know, it's usually the assistant director that really kind of runs the set. The director really kind of sits back and watches the monitors and just talks to the actor. In fact, usually it's the assistant director that actually yells action and cut and all that a lot of times.
Right.
Depends on who the director is, of course.
Sure.
So, like I said, with that first shoot, there was actually a little bit of a larger crew, so it did have kind of a professional feel to it. He made a very big deal about the only editor that he ever worked with, how he won an Emmy. Well, he actually had this editor come down to the set and bring his Emmy, and he had the actors pose with this Emmy.
So that's where that picture came from.
Yeah. So
it all pieces together finally.
Yeah. So and I had never seen anything like that ever. And I'm sorry, but I mean, I have never heard of any filmmaker crew member that carries around their awards in their car.
Dude. Oh man! What? I mean, unless you lived in your car. I'm sorry. This is this is a good laugh.
And I clearly remember being he was in
So awards in your car at all times. What does he think the Academy Award winning police is gonna pull him over or something and say, okay, license, registrations, and awards, please? Gee, well, I guess in that case, some of the award-winning celebrities might need to do that too.
Holding areas, and he was on the phone calling the editor. Oh, Linda, make sure you bring the Emmy with you.
I can picture it too. Just make sure you bring that Emmy, all right?
Yeah.
Oh man. Ugh.
So he shows up, and also too. I mean, for an editor, unless an editor is friends with the director, like really good friends, there's no reason for an editor to go visit the set. I mean, in reality, the editor's probably cutting another project he's working on, or she's working on.
Yeah. As long as we're in agreement about that. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So it's just that was very strange, and it was my first day on set seeing this. I'm like, what is going on? So
what is happening nowadays? I mean, so far there's been
bring
a lot of
strange. Bring an image to set.
I wonder, do you get chastised for not bringing your Emmy on set? You know what?
Yeah, no kidding.
You know what? What if that was?
Well, I brought my Oscar. I brought my Golden Globe.
That's not what I asked. I asked for an Emmy.
Yeah, no kidding.
Get it right. Get it right. You are no professional. You don't have an Emmy award. Get off my set.
Well, I guess that rules out any chance that me or Gabe would have for working for Derek Savage. I mean, just think of it. Because the only awards that Gabe has around, well, is different awards he got at the church for, good behavior and stuff like being youth of the month and things like that. Maybe a few school rewards, and also his certificate of completion from the art instruction school and everything. Yeah, imagine trying to carry all those awards in Gabe's car to go work for Savage, and it's like, okay, where's your Emmy? Okay, that's good that you were a good boy at church and everything, but I wanted an Emmy award. Get off my set, Gabe! Woo! That wouldn't end so well.
Yeah.
That's like the industry standard.
I brought my 420 award. Oh, that's okay. That counts.
That counts. Just go ahead and put it there. What do I even pay you guys for? You didn't pay us at all. That's not the point. That's not the point. I gave you a complimentary T-shirt and ticket and trophy. Take it with you.
Yep.
Golly. Oh.
And that backyard that all of that's in, that was not that house that Starwell had owned. That was actually owned by another gentleman. I do not remember his name, but he was actually Hulk Hogan's body double. So there was this guy that owned this house who was walking around who looked like Hulk Hogan, but it wasn't. So I'm talking like, 6'5", kind of bald in that same area, that kind of stringy.
So you're telling me that the body double of the actual Hulk Hogan allowed him to do this? Hulk Hogan loves Cool Cat. Ha! Well, why not? Hulk Hogan is already a Pokemon fan, so I guess that makes sense.
Blonde hair, the goatee, the whole thing. Yeah.
Oh, brother.
But it wasn't Hulk Hogan.
Wow.
Yeah.
Jeez, dude.
That was a trip. Yeah.
Did this all happen around the same time that like the Hollywood Parade stuff was being done? Like, how did you guys get into that?
No. Well, the Hollywood Parade, that did not happen until November of 2012.
So all this was just kind of shot like within the same year, but not on the same
Yeah.
day. Okay.
Exactly.
And the releases are so weird. So that's what doesn't make sense. Because like you sit there and you look at all this stuff, and it's like, okay, Hollywood Parade was like the first thing anybody ever really like looked at or that's listed. And then turns out it's like a really messed up Tarantino film where everything's out of order.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, pretty much. Well, and also too, and then you also have to remember that none of this was intended to be put together all as one film. This was, shot as a short, and then all of a sudden, a couple years later, he got the bright idea of just like, oh, I'm just going to piece this together. Why not make a movie? Why not make a feature? So.
Being the fact that he asked his editor to be on set, that's probably why it got put out of order, because the editor had no time to put it in order.
Yep, and some of their...
What happened was that editor only worked on Cool Cat Stops Bullying. Once we got to the other projects, the money was less, and then also at the same time too, because Mr. Garbage likes to have his hands in as many pies as possible, he realized that, the editing end, that's another end that I could cover, so I'm going to start doing that also.
Oh, I'm cutting costs where I can.
I remember when we were getting ready to do the Cool Cat in the Hollywood Christmas Parade 2012, this was probably October, maybe he was talking about this, maybe even early November. He was talking about this other film he wanted to do, one of the many other one of the films that didn't take off. This one was, the Wicked Witch one.
I heard about this.
And, and he was literally asking me how I thought he could somehow sneak in an actor in the crowd in a witch outfit and somehow simultaneously film the two projects. And I told him, I said, Eric, I was like, that cannot be done. That's impossible. I was like, how are you going to do that? And then he was like, yeah, I guess you're probably right. It's probably not going to work.
Oh my God.
Jesus.
So when you talk about cutting costs, that's a polite euphemism.
Oh, golly. So,
Yeah, that wouldn't have worked, but on its own, I'm actually kind of interested to see what that would have been like. Cool Cat facing off against the Wicked Witch from the Wizard of Oz. I'll get you next time, Cool Cat! And your little Betty, too!
being that he's that frivolous, as, being money pinching, basically, did you have to buy tickets to get in for the VIP part of the parade when it was filming?
He bought the tickets. He had to pay to get us in there and to get the car in there and all that. I want to say it was a couple of thousand.
Like each or all together?
All aggregated together, all together.
Oh my God!
Yep, that's what I was talking about. And one of my reactions of
and I did not understand at the time that he just basically paid for us to get in. When it was originally pitched to me, I did not know that.
So he tried to pitch it like y'all were invited to it, like 100% was on them.
Exactly.
Man. Yeah, and I figured that.
Exactly.
I figured Eric Garbage would do some kind of like, we're just gonna tell a little white lie, and
that's why he has his hands in so many pies.
Oh yeah, exactly. And
dude,
Those celebrities look so uncomfortable. I had to say that.
They're very uncomfortable. Yeah, I mean, and that was the other thing too. Is I kept asking him. I was just like, nobody knows who this character is. He's like, oh, well, just blend in. And
you're in a big orange cat suit. How do you blend in?
Yeah,
exactly. You're in Hollywood. Apparently, you do blend in.
Yeah. And he had kind of pulled me off to the side and had me talk to some people. And I will say it was fun because when I was in the outfit doing the voice, talking to Joe Montana was great because as the character, I'm sitting here telling him about how I love the Fat Tony voice from The Simpsons and how I love when Fat Tony's always in those episodes, and so that was fun getting to do that. And then when I was talking to George Takei, I was talking to him how I enjoyed the original cast films, especially Wrath of Khan and Part 6, Undiscovered Country. So that line does not make any sense at all when he kept it in the new thing, The Crazy Dream, when you hear George Takei say that movie should have been called Captain Sulu to the Rescue. He's referring to my comment about how much I enjoyed Star Trek 6, Undiscovered Country, and to anybody out there that remembers that film, his character Sulu really stepped it up. In fact, there's a part in the film where he says he's the captain of the Enterprise.
Yep.
And so hence saying that movie should have been called Captain Sulu to the Rescue. So it was just fun just talking to him also, just as myself being a fan, but also putting that aspect into the character, playing the character talk.
Now, weird thing, you mentioned earlier how when you met with Eric and Vivica, and it was kind of just like a wow factor in a way. Was it awkward?
Oh, yeah.
Was it awkward to talk with any celebrities that you came across, either as your character or as yourself, in any situation that you were in, basically?
It was kind of weird because I wanted to talk to Lou I can't ever pronounce his last name, so forgive me. The original Incredible Hulk.
Lou Ferrigno, yeah.
Lou Ferrigno. I was excited about talking to him, and Mr. Garbage, said some unkind words about him.
Oh,
and so he pulled me away. So I was just like, what the heck? It's like I grew up watching that show.
Yeah.
I would like to talk to that man.
You ruined it.
It's like
ruined.
Yeah. It's like, even though that's all he's known for, it's like, I don't care. It's like, I would like to talk to him.
Oh my gosh. Really, Savage? Really? You ruined Jason Johnson's chance to meet an actor of the Incredible Hulk TV series. Hulk smash Savage for blocking fire! Ah!
He was good at what he did back then.
Ferrigno's the man.
Yeah.
Kind of Hulk smashed him for a second. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Just turns green right there.
The weird awkward one was when I talked to the then LA Mayor Garcetti, because I didn't know who he was.
Oh, I can just about imagine how that would go. It's like, how do you, because we hit it off pretty good. Like, the three of us, obviously hit it off pretty well. But, how do you just, go in person to somebody like that? And you're in a suit, first of all. And how do you make this work? You know what I mean? And, did they react in a weird manner when you would talk in the voice and stuff like that? Because that just, I wouldn't know what to do with myself. If I knew it was a mascot that I knew of or anything like that, I'd be like, okay, cool, I get it. But then you got to think, they're sitting there who the hell is this? What is this? It's like you start questioning everybody who came to the party. Is who hired this mascot?
Yeah, they
blame it on Montel.
They didn't really seem to be too off-put, but at the same time, it was just kind of okay, thanks. And then, of course, with Mr. Garbage there with the camera trying to direct, so it was a little awkward, but it was done so fast that before there was times for it to get really awkward, we were already kind of out of there, moving on to the next person.
Yeah,
so to speak.
Yeah, because I mean, especially like especially some of them, like Lee, or from Back to the Future, like looked so just
yeah. She's just like, what? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's like a short-term memory flash. Just okay, this one.
Yeah.
I wonder how many times because they may not even realize they were in this. I wonder how many times those celebrities that were there tell the story about the time that a large orange cat invaded their little VIP party, and they were like, "This is so surreal. What is?"
I guess if any of those celebrities have children, that would probably be their bedtime story.
Why?
Oh yeah.
I wonder if it's like a bucket list for most of them. A bucket. I can cross that off my list. Exactly.
And also, too, and just the way it was done, because as I've explained to people, it's pretty much one notch above being a tourist and being at some party and having somebody that you're with going to talk to celebrities while they basically video it. I mean, that's pretty much all it is.
Yeah. So, did he pay you for this, like, that day? Like, because, I mean, you gotta think, that's kind of like the weird thing is, like, okay, well, we're gonna thrust you into this VIP thing. Like, what did Eric ask you to do anything else that was kind of odd for this, and did he pay you for it? Because, like, we heard about a certain thing involving you having to wash the Cool Cat Mobile, is what we're gonna call it. The Cool Cat car.
The Cool Cat
That is absolutely true. What happened was he would not write me my check until I helped him wash the convertible in the parking lot of his apartment, and it had all those decals on there. So we're talking about like a 12, 13-hour day, and he's at nighttime, and he's got me out there helping him wash the convertible to peel the stickers off. And also, too, I forgot about this. I do not remember what voiceovers I did, but he had me also do a couple of more voiceovers. So finally, after all of that was done, then he wrote me my check.
And this, ladies and gentlemen, is why the union is so important on a job. This is exactly why. Again, not looking down on the non-union jobs, like, besides this one. I'm not saying that none of them are legit as well, but all I'm saying is that's why it's kind of important to, to be in the union jobs. And if you have to be on something that's, non-union, be very cautious about the terms and conditions. Oh, yes. Very important. Especially when you're dealing with Hollywood. Or should I say, Hollyweird.
Jeez. And we're speaking about the same convertible that was the rental vehicle, correct?
Correct. The one from the Enterprise, correct.
Yep. That has to be an awkward conversation to walk up to the clerk and go like, yeah, I need to rent a car. What for? It's like, I'm filming this thing. And they kind of look at it like, what? Well, I need more elaboration because I need to make sure you have the proper insurance and blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Welcome to Orange Insurance. Orange has got you covered. Like, what? No. Dude.
And also too, I mean, I highly doubt any of that stuff was ever told about, this is what we're doing it for, because even the stuff when we were at the school for Cool Cat Finds a Gun, it's not like we had a permit to go shoot at the school. So we shot when the school was closed. So yeah, there would have never been any proper paperwork.
Yeah, that was kind of going into, you kind of beat us to that question, man. We were going to ask, like, how did that happen? Because it didn't look, again, like most of these films. Once you've seen, I feel like if you've seen one, you've seen all of them, basically. Like, it didn't look like a lot of new footage was shot for this stuff. So, I mean, how did that happen? And before that, actually, I forgot to ask also to elaborate, what was it like being in the suit? Because that thing cannot be comfortable, and especially after a 13-hour day. No.
Oh the suit is very uncomfortable. What happens is there is a mechanism in the right hand, which it literally looks like the equivalent of a bicycle. It's on like the handlebars, and that's what it looks like. So it's a device similar to that I would squeeze with my right hand, which was very difficult to squeeze, and it gave me blisters very quickly. That's what it would make the mouth move. So trying to do all of that and then be in the suit and then compensating for the fact that I didn't want this awkwardness on camera, like, okay, well, the character's still, but you see this little bit of movement in his hand. What's up with that? Does he have some weird type of twitch or something? So then, to compensate for that, I was adding all of this physicality into the character, which he let me add, because his main direction was always, oh, Jason, you need to shake your butt more. The kids want to see you shake your butt. What? Which I never did.
Wait.
Understood that.
Hold on. He makes you shake your butt.
Yes,
for kids?
People.
That's what he would always say. It's like, oh, well, kids message me, and they always say that, the character should shake his butt more.
First off, why are kids messaging this man? Second, my God.
On what forum? I want to know, where do these kids?
Yeah, please excuse us. We are taken very much aback by that. Oh, man.
This has gone down really deep, really fast.
It explains so much.
Yeah, I have never understood. In fact, it was funny. There was because what happens is when people leave like a YouTube comment on something I've written, it'll come to my email, and somebody had put a comment to Ryan, and like I had gotten the email because like I had written something in there, and it said something like, "Oh, if you ever get to interview Eric Garbage, you should ask him why he would always tell Jason to shake his butt." I have never understood where that comes from.
You can't see it, but we both have the most disgusted looks on our faces right now. It's just like one of those moments where it's like
we have seen some difficult things to process, but this is kind of getting far above that right now.
Yeah, and I mean, we've even been told, like, by your social manager, like your social media manager and everything, or I say social media, like basically, your correspondence or whatever, that like we've been pretty dead on as far as what we were thinking was going on with certain things, but this takes the cake, dude. Like, by far, this takes the absolute cake. It's like the cherry on top of the diarrhea cake. It's not even up for debate.
But is it really a cherry?
No, it's not a cherry. It is. It's the actual worst. God,
this is low budget.
You know what it is? You know what it is, Cody?
What's that?
It is the corn that's in the diarrhea. That's what it is. It's the piece of corn on top of that diarrhea cake.
Well, the films are corny too, so I mean, there's that. I mean,
This is a whole new image like Spectrum now. Oh, okay.
Cool crap.
Yeah.
Cool crap.
Yeah, cool crap.
Corn crap.
Yeah, exactly.
Why does that sound like a cereal you would make? Like, just... buy my new cereal. Corn craps.
Oh, stays crunchy.
You imagine him... But you know what, too? He would do his own commercials.
Oh, God. Do we even dare dwell on that?
Yeah. I mean, no. Like everything.
It'll be burned in your mind.
What is not burned in our minds at this point?
Exactly. Like this, dude. The rabbit hole that Cody and I went down just to research, because we've done episodes before. We did one on the gun safety video, and then we did one on 420 and like all this other stuff separately. But dude, we did it. We dove into the rabbit hole even more so since the Crazy Dream thing came out. I think my brain is mush. I have no idea how we are sitting here cohesively having a conversation right now. But
there's a switch that we shut off at certain points. It's like, you know what? We're good.
It goes deep.
Yeah, it does.
It's a deep, nasty, weird hole. It's like a bad acid trip.
speaking of deep, nasty holes, did you and Garbage ever have any kind of like issues with scripting dialogue for the character? Because a lot of his dialogue in general was just horrid at most points of the films. So we can basically assume that Garbage wrote most of it.
Oh yeah, he wrote pretty much all of it. I know that he let me improv a couple of lines here and there. I don't remember which ones. I do know that he would write things that were such tongue twisters that I would, a couple of times I got to readjust a couple of words here and there, but for the most part, it is his genius diatribe that you see.
Yeah. I can just picture Eric Garbage sitting at the desk with your computer, from what I hear, typing all of this stuff out. Like, this sounds like it's going to be good. We're just going to put this in here. It's just as...
It sounds like, well, you don't really need to imagine much because it's in a scene where he's making the Cool Cat song. Oh, Cool Cat, you have any suggestions? Oh, Cool Cat loves to rock and roll. Yeah, you're really good with the... Oh, Cool Cat loves to play the... Oh, yeah, you're really good with the... Yes. Wonderful.
That is the lyrics to the music.
Hold on. Stop for a second.
Oh, what?
Is he using Jason's computer?
That Apple computer is Jason's.
No.
From what I understand.
No. Hold on a second. Is he using his computer to talk to these kids?
That sound you just heard was me dropping my stuff.
I don't know which one he's using, but the ones that you would see in there, that is in the old stuff. That's not mine. What was my Apple computer was in with the last one that I did with him, which is Cool Cat Kid Superhero. During the Cool Cat Rap Master,
yes,
there's...
I was gonna say, because this is like
the scene in there.
Yeah, because Save
my computer.
Yeah, because Save the Kids and then Kid Superhero is basically one of the same. Like, I think that's the same with like a couple minor edits, and that's about it, if I'm not mistaken.
There was 7 new scenes that we shot for that, which was all in one day. There was originally supposed to be more scenes, but what happened was he literally thought that I was not memorizing my lines fast enough, and he thought that I would not be ready. So he pulled the plug on the dates, trimmed out some of the scenes, and then we just ended up with 7 new scenes. I want to say that maybe in total it was supposed to be maybe like 12 new scenes, but it only ended up being 7.
So he actually...
And he was actually supposed to have a kid. There was actually supposed to be another kid in there too, and that never happened either.
So the same man that we know reuses footage actually made new footage. That's kind of contradicting itself.
So actually, also new stuff that was shot from when the shorts were cut together, the Finding the Gun, the Stop Spooling, and the Parade. There was a few of those. There was a few new scenes that were shot for all of those aggregated together for the release of Sage the Kids, which was like the school president thing and a few things like that. But yeah, there really wasn't a whole lot of new scenes when stuff was all added together for a feature.
I'm kind of curious though, like going back to the whole like writing the script and stuff. Like I know a lot of people have caught this. Me and you, especially Richie.
Yep.
The grammar had to been, like we talked about earlier, just hard to read. So did you ever approach him and be like, look, I can't read this, so do you mind if I, just touch it up a little bit or edit it? And did he give you any flack for it? Stuff like that.
He let me every once in a while adjust something, but it was pretty rare. I mean, he kind of wanted it the way he wrote it in a lot of ways. So yeah.
Dude, and go ahead. Sorry.
And also too, I don't know. We haven't brought really stepping in to direct, not only from just directing like behind the scenes as being the director, but actually being the actor in there. Because he told me that he felt that that he needed to be in there actually to supervise everything also.
Oh, of course.
So,
by cutting costs.
Yeah. Yeah, so, and I thought that was really strange in his reasoning because the subject was serious because it was the finding of a gun.
Yeah. Speaking of all of that, though, there's like a couple points we wanted to bring up, which is kind of humorous on our end, and I'm sure everybody else has watched these. So he's got you scripted to find this gun with these kids, okay? And it should be a very serious matter, okay? But it was very humorously delivered and very much like that so bad it's good echelon of, filming or whatever. But the thing that we laughed at was he was supposed to put the gun in your hands, like the cat hands. Like, those are big hands. Like, how do you hold that gun, let alone type on a laptop keyboard? Like, how do you do this stuff, man?
You can't. In fact, too, there were so many times I would see stuff in the script and I would say, I can't do that with the character. I'm not going to be able to pick that up. I realized very quickly the character can't pick anything up and he can't open doors.
That's why he holds the door for you.
Yeah. So, in fact, too, there's even a scene when he has to, when he would have to pick stuff up, I would have to purposely move stuff so close to the edge where it's almost going to fall off. So when we would roll, I would easily be able to go over in the character and pick up these objects. So, I mean, none of that stuff flew. It was obviously readjusted, and it's just readjusted just so bad. It's just like, what? Okay.
If he ever made you pick up anything, it's like those pooper scoopers, kind of like clamping together like a claw and just, there you go.
You figure he would, but no. That was never the case.
Man.
There is that one time when there was a scene where we were walking to the car and Garbage says, let me get the door here for you. And he opens the door from the inside when we're outside of the car because he can't, with the glove on, open the door with the hands on everything.
I remember that. That was funny. Yeah. And then he has to pick your tail up and put it in the car too.
Yeah.
Easy does it, son. Watch your tail there, son. Like, oh no.
Yeah. Yep. Well, and then too, there's another one with the tail that's in finds a gun where I'm coming outside, holding the boombox thing, and the tail gets caught on those rose bushes or something like that.
I noticed that too.
Yeah. So there was all kinds of weird things like that going on, but because of the tail or just because objects couldn't get picked up. It was just always just some weird thing like that.
So that house, like we've talked about it before, that house, is that the bodyguards, or is that a different house? Because Eric Garbage doesn't necessarily sometimes come out and say it, but it seems like he projects this home to actually be his. This is not his house, correct?
No, it is not. It belongs to the fella, the tall African American fella that is in Crazy Dream, and he's in some of the other stuff. He owns that house. That guy was Garbage's former agent. He owns that house where all the Cool Cat stuff was shot. In fact, that bedroom is that was his bedroom. So
the owner's bedroom?
Yeah, the owner's. Yeah.
So, in a way, he paid him to use the house by putting him in certain films. Maybe that was his pitch. He's like, "Oh, let me use your house. I'll put you in this movie or something." I'll edit you in here.
He was renting a room there at the time.
Oh, Eric was?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, there we go. That opens a couple of doors. Yeah, literally.
Right. So, I think that was certainly an incentive type thing there, but even before Eric Garbage was renting a room there, he let him use the house. So he was actually pretty nice about that. And then the backyard where the character finds the gun, that was just in the backyard of the house. That's also the same backyard where Eric Garbage is doing the commas thing.
He's smacking that tree. God, that is so cringy.
Smacking the tree.
Right. Yeah, and you're holding, and like your big old like cat hand holding that little bitty like handheld camera during that.
Yeah.
I found that whole part very unnecessary because what is it trying to prove? It's proving that Eric Garbage is terrible at commas. Yeah. It's proving that he wants to be this bad boy, as he would say. Where's the commas?
Oh, no. There's no way he's gonna be the bad boys. Bad boys, what you gonna do? Yeah, no way he's gonna live up to being Will Smith. Trust me, even Martin Lawrence has a high standard over him right now.
Safety? Yeah, it's his stick skills, his stick safety skills. He's sticking to them. Coming soon from Eric Garbage. Stick safety for women and men too, and possibly cats.
I think it was the same thing almost with the guitar. It was just kind of things that he thought were cool that he just thought what he would insert in there. Because, I mean, I even remember reading that script and when he was talking about him with the commas, you know, and I'm supposed to go out with the camera and, like, you know, spy on him and, like, all this other stuff and just, like, making commentary about him using the commas. I remember when I was first reading that, I was just like, what the heck is this? This makes no sense. So, and I just kind of chalked it up to one of those things that were just, as so many other scenes, are just basically scene filler.
General question to anybody listening: how does a man who has very little grammar skills know how to use commas?
Yeah,
a lot of free time.
It's kind of weird.
A lot of free time. Maybe didn't have friends. There's a huge contradiction there. Yeah. That's
lots of free time.
Contrastiction. Yeah. There you go. But yeah, so like all that was just nuts, man. Like just looking at all that footage it feels like it all just, like again, it's just one giant like conglomeration of crap, you know? Like
and that's another thing too. Is I mean, if you just really look at that stuff, hardly any of those stories are ever finished being told.
No, they're not.
I mean, in my opinion, I think the strongest story is from the original shoot, Stops Bullying, because if you really look at that, the character learns everything from Vivica Fox, because she's the one that says, would you like to know what I did to the bully? You know, when the bully came around, I just told the bully to leave me alone. So then when that character comes back around, you know, and he's like, you know, you're not going to bully us anymore and everything. I mean, he learned that from the Vivica character. So that was like the only little kind of story that actually you seem to have like a beginning and a middle and an end, because the whole gun thing is so full of holes. It's like, well, you know, we found this gun. It's like, well, whose yard were you in? And that's who the gun belongs to.
It's so full of bullet holes. Yeah. So full of bullet holes from the gun. No. But honestly, yeah, that PSA from Vivica was just terrible. Yeah, see, that's what I was going to say too, man. Also, is like when Vivica and Eric, the other Eric, not Garbage, worked on that set that day, like, did they know they were going to be doing the PSA, and did Eric Garbage like actually pay them for all this? Like, and how much did they even make for this? Because I mean, you wouldn't think that those two would do something. How much? I'm sorry.
1,000 each.
1,000 each. Wow.
Yeah. Like, that was just for the one day. I don't think that he paid her for the PSA. And originally, I was going to be in the outfit doing the PSA, but and I was excited about doing it. So I'm like, oh, great! I could do another scene with her, and I was happy about that. And that was actually at her house. And he had called me at the last minute, and he said, yeah, she just wants to just do an in and out thing, and that's it.
Yeah, and it didn't come out that great at all. She honestly, and it's just our opinion, but she didn't look very thrilled about it, and I mean that's how it came.
I think she got talked into it. That's what happened.
Oh, that good old car salesman pitch. That nice garbage charm.
Not too thrilled, you say? Kind of like that sensei in the gun safety video when he was showing about karate moves. Boy, Savage, why have you taken over my class?
It's not a car salesman. It's not a car salesman. It's a garbage truck salesman.
Yeah.
Dude, how does he keep funding this stuff? Like, honestly, I mean, I know he crowdfunds, but if he keeps repackaging all this footage, like, where does this money actually go? I mean, the dude has raised thousands of dollars for these movies, but the production quality just does not show at all. And I mean, we know where 2,000 of it went, right? But like, I don't know. I feel like he pockets this stuff, and scams a lot of people out of this stuff.
No wonder people compare the nostalgic critic to Derek Savage.
It's ridiculous.
I do know that he was working as a recruiter for a now defunct trade school. So I do know that a lot of that money was used to fund Stops Bullying, and some of that may have went into Finds a Gun. I'm not sure, but I do know that probably by the time after Finds a Gun was finished shooting, so probably sometime late 13, he no longer had that job at that trade school. So I think that's when a lot of crowdfunding and just these, even though corners were cut before, that's when corners really started getting cut. So
the fact there was crowdfunding involved is just it hurts my brain. Like in reality, because like we talk about, it's just so hard to believe that people will look at this and actually they want more. So they give him money to just produce more of this stuff.
Yeah, it's really strange. I think that even though I'm not going to be doing it, I still think that there are people out there that no matter what that man does, they are going to watch it. It's like this train wreck that you just cannot turn away from. And I think people just want to see how far he's going to go down. And as long as he keeps putting stuff out there, people are going to continue to click on it. It's strange. I really don't get it.
I mean,
I've been trying to figure it out for a long time.
And Jason, it's sort of like why people kept going to see Bayformers, despite the fact of how terrible they got with their sequels. First movie, they were on the big screen. That was alright. But then, Revenge of the Fallen, in the beginning, it gets worse. And then Dark at the Moon, and then Age of Extinction, and God forbid, The Last Night. Oh, I don't even know what they were doing by that point, but yeah, that's why. Now, Last Night was a pretty big bomb, but the other sequels, 2, 3, and 4, big blockbuster hits. I have no idea how that was possible when you got a bunch of negative criticism from critics. And people like us that know Transformers, really having our eyes open to this stuff, know it's bad. But yet other people are like, duh, it's a good movie, duh. Yeah.
I mean, it definitely does fall into that circle because, like our podcast, like
Cody and I review cult films all the time, and a lot of those are B movies or like cult films from the 70s, 80s, 90s, and onward. And a lot of it's like for the so bad it's good, entertainment value and things like that. And I think that's what and I hate to use this word, but that may be what the quote unquote charm of it is to those people that haven't like experienced the negative side of these movies and things like that. And it's just something to laugh at with a group of friends. And I don't think Eric Garbage realizes that people that watch these are watching them ironically. They are not serious about it, and I can't even fathom these movies being shown to children of any type, like in a serious manner. And if that's happening, oof.
But as they know more about it, though, I mean, they're going to realize that they don't want to associate any kind of like viewing of his stuff, period, to give him any kind of publicity whatsoever, because you can't really take him professionally, seriously, on any moral standard at this point.
Okay.
No, that's true. In fact, too, going back to the comment you made earlier, I remember when Saves the Kids came out, I remember him calling me, and people were writing reviews on Amazon. And obviously some of those reviews about saying how it was the best film ever and stuff like that, I mean, that's obviously people yanking his chain. Well, he took those serious. I mean, he was just calling him like just in shock of like, you won't believe these beautiful reviews we're getting. These things are just great. And
they're spectacular.
And,
sounds like the same sarcasm that Squidward gives SpongeBob sometimes. Hey, Squid, you want to go jellyfishing with us? Me jellyfishing with you guys? Oh, that would be the best day ever in my book. I'd love to go with SpongeBob and, Patrick. Right. But I can't right now. Like that'll ever happen.
Yeah, and I'm just like, okay. And at the time period, too, I really kind of just blew a lot of that off just because I was just kind of glad that it was done, and I really just didn't think it was going to continue on. And then flash forward a couple years later to 2017, I'm, back with him doing Kid Superhero. So now I don't know.
Now, a story about Superhero, and I want to say, I don't remember if this was on Superhero or Saves the Kids. Again, like we've said before, it all runs together. Can you answer this for us? It's been on a lot of people's minds. Why did Mama Cat's voice change? Like we hear it has something to do with a specific incident that happened, and we'll let you decide if you want to get into that or not. But like, was that the catalyst for it?
Yeah, well, originally he was saying, of course, that he wanted to get more of a known, recognizable voice, which is, I mean, that would cost a lot of money. But the original actress that did the Mama Cat voice, she had told me on a couple of occasions. In fact, she had told me on set when she was helping us on set with Saves the Kids, because she was helping me in and out of the outfit. She had told me that Eric Garbage had asked her out a few times, and she had rejected him.
She rejected him?
Yes, she rejected him. So, which obviously he did not like, and he.
Gee, I wonder, was there ever a moment where Savage tried to hold his breath like John Arbuckle did when he tried to ask Liz out in the Thanksgiving special? I'm just gonna hold my breath until you agree to go out with me, April.
In his peanut brain, thought that there must have been something going on between she and I, because after the final shoot day, she lived across the street. She said, hey, it's like a 30-minute drive back to your house. She's like, do you want to just shower over here? And she's like, I can open, some wine. You could have like a drink or something. I was like, yeah, that's, before you go back to your house. I said, yeah, that's cool. So I'm in the shower getting out. All of a sudden, he busts open the door to this woman's house. She's in another room in the house. The bathroom I am in is across from the house. I am nowhere near her. he comes busting in there with his black bro tank top thing, looking for her and looking for me, thinking that something is going on.
What?
Wow.
So, let me get this straight. So, you're saying he literally just broke into this woman's house? Oh my gosh. Or as a certain friend of mine would say, oh my gosh. Wow. This is the same person that made gun self-defense for ladies to protect our women from attackers. You know, all kinds of attackers that try to get at them, be able to defend themselves, and yet he becomes just like the attacker that he's trying to get the ladies to protect themselves against. Wow, look, Derek Savage has really become the perfect example of what Harvey Dent once said in Batman the Dark Knight. Well, you know, the thing is, you either die a hero, or you live long enough to become the villain. Yeah, you probably can figure out which one of those Savage falls in.
When, of course, nothing was. I never even thought that way. I know that she didn't. And, yeah.
Was this when y'all started having issues with each other?
We weren't really we kind of started having some issues back then. They didn't really escalate till later. The issues with him and I really escalated, I would say, probably around May of 2017. What happened at that time period, I had made it very clear to him that I could no longer just come by anytime he wanted me to get in the outfit and him to shoot a scene, and just at any time like I had done before. I was trying to do full-time videography and editing for like weddings and bar and bat mitzvahs and stuff like that. So I was trying to do that work. So I was at my own house editing my own stuff all the time. And he just kept calling me and just, I need you this day. And he kept telling me I was flaking on him. And I kept telling him I wanted more money. And that just really continued to escalate. And at that time period, he kept threatening me about, I'll just get somebody else in the outfit and I'll just record over all your dialogue. And I finally consented and just went ahead and gave in and did that one-day shoot on Kid Superhero, which was in July of 2017. And that is the last time I have been in the outfit. That's the last time I've actually laid eyes on him and been around him.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't mean to cut you off earlier whenever you were kind of elaborating more on the story with like the whole shower debacle or whatever. Do you had something else to say about that, or I didn't want you to feel like I cut you off.
No. That's pretty much it on that. Yeah, I mean it was just so strange enough as it is. I mean, I didn't even know what to even make of it, because it was just like, what just happened here? Why are you here?
Yeah. I'm changing his name to Black Bro Tank Top. Black Bro Tank Top. There you go.
Boy, it's almost. I guess apparently this little thing with Derek busting into April's house and Jason wondering what the heck is going on. It's almost like Derek trying to do a shot from a soap opera or something. As the Savage turns, or the young and savage, guiding Savage. Excuse me there. Oh. Apparently I got choked up on how corny that was. Oh boy.
He wants to be Rambro. But man, so did you do any other kind of stuff? Like, it seems like he was trying to get you to do stuff for free at this point, or like less than nothing. Like, did he even pay you scale? I mean, we don't need to know a number, but like,
there was nothing like that.
Well, I tell you one thing. He definitely should pay for breaking into that woman's house. Yeah, that's a definite pay there. I'm surprised April didn't sue him. We worked together, but he just broke in my house because I didn't want to go out on a date with him. Well, I just thought something was going on, Your Honor. No, look here, Savage. I'm doing the talking. So, yeah, basically, you couldn't get you a date, so you thought it would be okay for you to break into this lady's house. You know what? You definitely are owing this lady everything she's suing you for. Case dismissed. Get out of my court. Oh boy, Judge Mathis would have that wrapped up quick.
Whatsoever, no scale, no anything. In fact, too, I really, when we had done the shoot for Saves the Kids, there had actually gotten to a point where there was literally no money left. So I had actually, myself and the kids had put in, I think like 1 or 2 days for free.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and again, that was, and it was him just convincing and begging, like, oh, well, that'll be it, and the whole feat finished, and all this and all this. So
Yes, come on. I know. I don't have no money right now, but this is gonna be the very last time, Jason and kids. This is gonna be my last time. Just please do this for me, please. I can imagine he all of a sudden turned into James Brown. Please, oh please, yeah. Oh boy. I'm begging you, please, one more shoot now.
And my mode of thinking was, and even back then he had given me the whole song and dance about replacing me and going over the lines and whatnot, and I never wanted that, and I kind of felt like that if I hung in there long enough, that a handful of people, would know me as an actor and would know me from that, which has happened. So that was the main reason why I stuck it out as long as I did. And plus, I just knew the voice that he would use and just how he would change the character. And I'm not trying to sound egotistical, but I did a much better job than what he did.
Yes, you did.
Yeah, you did. We've said this before, and I think we've told you this, before, because we've spoken before, the interview, obviously.
Yeah.
You were absolutely our favorite part of all of it. Like, your performance was our favorite part about all of it, because as cringy as all of it is, you brought the character, to such, life, and you gave it, you gave it, the sustenance that it required, that it needed, basically. Absolutely.
What he is.
I appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah, and I will say that throughout all of the craziness, I will say that I will always give Garbage that. He did give me a lot of freedom with the physicality and always putting the laugh in there. Now a lot of that physicality that I did didn't go my way. Like, for instance, the scene I did a couple times where I would scratch myself and I'd shake the leg, and everyone thought it was masturbation, which that was not what I was thinking at all. I literally just thought the character needed to have some more animal-like qualities, some just even more so like a cat, and that just kind of popped in my head, and I didn't even think anything about it whatsoever.
Yeah.
It was just this weird random instinct. But when you're an actor, I mean, sometimes you make bad character choices, and it's no big deal. It's like, okay, that didn't work, just try something else.
Yeah,
no big deal.
Yeah, because, not gonna lie, that was our first thought when we saw that, because we cracked up so horribly on that scene. But at the same time, like you said, you made a choice. It didn't pan out the way you thought it was going to. But at the same time, how did Bro Tank Top did not look at it and go, well, this is kind of strange, especially for what I'm trying to do, so why not take this out? But he left it in there.
Yeah. Yep. And it's been he did. Yep, he did. And that was the other thing that I've never. Well, and that goes back to kind of almost going back to the beginning of what you were saying. What was it like on set? There was really a lot of no time for retakes. So, I mean, if something got done like that, if it was an accident, chances are it got left in there. Like, for instance, the one scene that everybody always talks about, it's even made gifs on, of the person that walks out of the house in the background and then sees that we're shooting and then walks back in the house.
Yes.
So, and that was the thing. Everything was just literally rushed. There was just never a time to like, oh, well, why don't you guys just feel it out here, and if you guys want to take the scene another direction, see if you can take it this direction, or anything like that. There was never any of that stuff. In fact, he probably spent more time directing the kids, and of course, he probably did that just because they were kids, and it's not that they were bad actors or anything, but I think he just needed to maybe just kind of pull more stuff out of them, or I don't know what it was.
Yeah, the kids are great. The kids are great. So
yeah, but I mean, that kind of stuff never went on with me hardly at all.
Eric Garbage, the one take wonder. Like there's so many names.
It's almost like the filmmaker Ed Wood, that Johnny Depp, did the biopic on.
Yep.
So. It's literally kind of like that, just one take master.
So, man, getting into some other little smaller tidbits before we roll on to the next kind of phase of all this stuff. I heard about your agent told me that you'd done a phone call as the character that he asked you to do that, and
oh yeah.
How did that go? Because that's interesting.
What happened was he had called me, and I guess somebody had contacted him from Amazon, and this gentleman had said, "Hey, Eric, would you have the character call my niece for her birthday?" And so somehow the price of $20 got settled upon, which to me is beyond chicken feed, but whatever, that's neither here nor there. So I was like, okay, I'll call. So I called the girl up, and she was a teenager.
Oh boy.
I assumed I was going to be calling some 7, 8-year-old girl, and I'm sitting there talking to some teenager in the voice, in the character. She was very appreciative, but it was extremely awkward.
I can imagine. Just
yeah. So I quickly sang "Happy Birthday" and just "Have a great day" kind of thing, and wrapped it up. And then Eric Garbage didn't even pay me my $20. He said he was going to take me out to a steak dinner instead. He did take me out for the steak dinner, and that was only because I had helped him relocate from North Hollywood to Las Vegas.
Is that from whenever you moved into the cat house, basically, that you got?
That's when he moved out of it. He moved out of it. No, excuse me. No, you're right. No, yeah. He hadn't moved to it yet. He was living at this other apartment. That apartment that I'm talking about, if you look at those pictures from Crazy Dream with garbage on the computer and all of that, that is in that apartment.
So that just proves how old that footage is.
Yes, that's the place I helped him move out of to Vegas. Then I helped him move from Vegas June of 16 to the Cool Cat house.
Wow. I'm still wrapping my brain around where did he get the money for not only a $20 payoff, but a steak dinner?
Yeah, because you would think that he would go ahead and just pay you because the dinner would cost more. You know, it's like,
Yeah.
I'm still just kind of confused. Like, where is this money coming from?
yeah.
Because supposedly he was like bled dry at one point. You know, when he was filming everything.
I don't know. I have never been able to figure it out, and I think it's the one thing. And I say this for me on actually still just somewhat of a concern, you know, trying to be at one time a friend. I really wondered, like, how are you doing this? Like, shouldn't you be concerned about, you know, getting your life kind of back on track and, you know, paying bills and whatnot versus trying to, you know, sink every little extra dime into just, you know, making another extended version of one of these movies or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, we kind of had the same sentiment too on episode 77 that we did, because I remember sitting there when Cody and I were talking about all this on mics, and it was not even a slap. It's not even a slight. Even now, it's not even a slight. It's like, how lonely is this guy? Like, is he just sitting alone, constantly thinking of different things that he can film, and like he's got no wife, got no kids, like none of this stuff. Like it's kind of sad in a sense, you know what I mean? Like, I get like what you were saying now, like trying to be a friend to him at the time. It's kind of sad and worrisome at the same time, but it's I don't know. I think at the end of the day, you know, for all that's happened, you know, that we'll get into here in a minute, like I can't at the same time feel sorry for it. Like, I feel like you put yourself in certain situations and you have to take yourself out of them. You know?
That's absolutely true. I mean, he pretty much dug his own hole with that. I still, for the life of me, just don't understand his reactions with all of that, and just things have continued to just get, you know, crazier and crazier and crazier. And then the fact of even if he and I, you know, were still talking, it's like, well, you know, you're 5.5 hours away in Las Vegas. You don't have the budget for me to come to and from anyway. So it's like, eventually this would just have to end anyway.
Yeah.
So, and also too, there has never been any type of other outside producer, outside money involved. He never told me anything about, oh, I'm going to this pitch meeting over at this studio, I'm meeting with this producer or whatever. There was nothing like that, and I don't understand why there ever wasn't. I mean, I guess it obviously has to do with control. That's the only answer I can assume. So I don't know. In fact, too, I remember when Stops Bullying first came out, and he had put it on DVD. He wasn't prepared for the cost of trying to enter it into film festivals.
Yeah, because that costs, and people don't realize that is a thing.
Yeah.
And the entry fees are not cheap either.
No, they're not. So instead of doing that, he immediately started trying to monetize, and it's like, how are you going to monetize on a 6-minute short? It's like, unfortunately, filmmakers have a hard time understanding, but if you do a short film, that's your stepping stone. You use that as your springboard to get funding for your feature, or even just another short that then you use for a springboard to get funding for. And that means going to film festivals and just stuff like that. And it's expensive, but it's part of the game. You can't get around it.
Yep, so technically what Derek probably should have done to make Cool Cat go further and possibly get better over time rather than his method, as Jason Johnson say, the film festival thing. once Cool Cat Stop Bullying comes out, you take it to don't have enough money, well, get a Kickstarter together to build up, up to the amount that's needed to put it in the film festival. And some of the money to make the film Stops Bullying could have been saved, possibly, if instead of having Vivica A. Fox and Eric Estrada, nothing against having celebrity appearances or nothing, but maybe if you took what you paid them and maybe just got, just some, regular folk like, Jason Johnson back then, who was kind of starting off, and, yourself, and, and April, who played Mama Cat, and instead of putting out that thousands of dollars for the celebrities, you could have converted that into buying extra cat suits and had Cool Cat a family. And he would have had a mama and Papa Cat, who actually are cats, just like in the book Cool Cat Stops Bullying. But no, we want celebrity appearances, so fork out that thousands of dollars and, oh wait, film festival? I don't have enough for that, so I'll advertise it myself. Oh yeah. Derek.
So that was certainly something that he just couldn't grasp when we first started everything, and then that's what started just, all of the monetizing on it from way back then and everything else. So,
Now, at this point in everything, we feel like somebody have had to, either fire you or, cut you from everything completely. So was there ever an official, like, pink slip kind of way, like you're taken out? Because obviously there's been a lot of issues building up to this point, and things didn't go well, and I'm assuming something happened to where y'all don't work together anymore.
Yeah, like, did anybody actually, quote-unquote, fire you?
Nope. Nobody, no firing, no phone call, no email, nothing. Nothing like that whatsoever.
Well, that kind of leads us to this next bit that we're going to get into. There is another person that has worked on these movies alongside Eric Garbage that actually has been claiming that he has fired you in 2018. And that particular person is Derek Savage. And he claims he fired you in 2018. That's correct, right?
That is incorrect. He did not.
All right. I figured that. Okay. Well, since that was in 2008, we actually have our hands provided, to us, a voicemail that is dated on February 7th, 2019, from Derek, that we're actually going to be playing right now. So hang tight. Jason, we're going to play this real quick, and we'll come right back, all right?
All right, sounds good.
Oh boy.
Hey, Jason, what's happening? It's Derek. Hey, just wanted to touch base with you and say hi. Hey, 420 Awards is going on, brother, and it looks like Cool Cat's going to win an award. So, hey, love to have you in it. I've also thought of a way where we can have you present award as Jason Johnson also, to get your FaceTime and everything on there. Okay, wait, buddy. Give me a call a little bit later. It's still early, about 9 o'clock. Okay, God bless. Bye.
So, yeah, God bless. Bye. But so he's offering you to show up to the 420 Awards to win an award as Cool Cat, and to show up as you, Jason Johnson, to get some FaceTime on stage at this event. That sure sounds like a friendly term for, and very friendly sounding, obviously, in the voicemail, for somebody that claims to have fired you last year. Like, what is going on with that?
Kind of weird, huh? Well,
yeah, it very is.
Almost like
Derek got goes to show like everything else. It just random things he likes to write online that aren't true.
That sounds about right. And obviously,
personalities of Derek Savage.
You would never show up to the 420 Awards as this character. It's a kid's character. Like, why would there be? This is obviously going back to Eric Garbage.
Why would Eric want this children's character at an award show called the 420 Awards? Like, that boggles our mind.
I don't know. In fact, I literally remember having that conversation. I was in my car. I was talking to Garbage on the phone, and I told him, I said, there is no way that this can be done. I said, if this is done, once this door is open, you will never be able to close it. I was like, that is it for that character ever trying to do anything kid friendly ever again. And I said I just didn't want anything to do with it whatsoever. And also too, as I have I lost my train of thought.
No, it's okay.
Oh yeah, and also too, if I were to have gone, then there would have been all of this extra shooting involved that I would not have wanted to do. Plus, I would have brought my fiance with me, and we would have had this time in Vegas that I would have had to pay for on my own dime, and I just did not want to do that.
Don't blame me one bit.
That was a smart call.
Yeah.
Seems like you've always had to talk Eric Garbage out of dumb ideas like this.
Oh yeah, I have, and plus too, I haven't given him consent to use my footage or likeness, and that video for the Crazy Dream or any of that.
Yeah, and we'll get into that in just a second too. But speaking of the stupid ideas, the Stops the School shooting video, before Crazy Dream was decided upon, Eric wanted to make Stops the School shooting, and this is happening during a time when mass attacks are happening right here in the States. It's not good. Were you ever going to do this movie?
No, I was not. In fact, I feel very strongly about the narrative of school shootings, and I would not do a movie like that. I mean, to me, school shootings are extremely heartbreaking reality.
Yeah, really.
I mean, this year alone, Sydney Aiello committed suicide. She was the second suicide of a student from the Parkland school shooting. She was only 17 years old. I mean, our elementary schools, our junior high schools, and our colleges, these universities, these should be safe places.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But instead, they've got metal detectors, and they've got these, school shooting drills, and the victims and the families of these school shootings, they're affected by these things every day, and so many of them, suffer PTSD and depression, and I don't want any part of that, of having people, having these memories triggered and having to go through that, and not to mention having to see someone dressed up in a costume and shooting kids.
Yeah,
and
that's
it's sad. We should be coming together, with tragedies like this, instead of trying to just make these mock videos trying to capitalize on these tragedies.
And that was the thing that you mentioned. Why would you associate this character with something as negative as this? I mean, the 420 Awards is one thing, but shootings in general is just a whole nother dark entity in the person's brain that you mentioned, Jason. You don't want to associate this character with those PTSD moments, and then as kids who watch this, who have gone through this stuff, they're just having these mental images pop in their heads again, and they're traumatized yet again because he wants to portray what it's like to go through that. And it's just not a good idea. It's not a good idea at all. And this,
it's terrible.
Yeah, and this goes into other stuff about this, is the fact that Eric tried to hook Felix, PewDiePie, into basically funding this thing, and that is laughable in and of itself, because the dude didn't even realize that
Felix was trolling the hell out of him whenever he did his review, as a lot of other people have done reviews of his work. And he wound up...
And speaking of getting a reviewer to fund what he wants to do, way back when he first, did Cool Cat Saves the Kids, the combination of, the first two short films in the Hollywood Parade, he actually, I think Your Movie Sucks was the first reviewer to actually talk about this movie of his, and it was negative. He made jokes, although there were a few scenes where he was wearing some of the Cool Cat merch, like the t-shirt, and like, hey, this would be a real chick magnet. And, said a few good things about it. Derek actually almost took this critic in almost like his long-lost son. I'm not... Yeah, no, that's a kind of a weird comparison, but he actually liked Your Movie Sucks review, funded the review, and this was... He was like, oh yeah, this is a real good guy here. But then when I Hate Everything and Bob Shaw, along with several other people, decided to talk about the film, being negative as well, it sucks! Suddenly they're met with copyright takedowns and everything. But oh no, Your Movie Sucks is, oh, that's my brand. Adam is a good man, and he loves Cool Cat. You do. He's a reviewer just like the rest of them. Oh boy. And then on top of that, with PewDiePie, you want him to... Well, they pretty much just told you on that one, but yeah, really? Then on top of that, with the school shooting subject, sorry to go on pretty long with this one, but with the school shooting thing, well, it turns out, even though we have not seen this come to light and really was hoping that it never would, apparently he still wants to do this. And how does he want to do this? He's going to put out a film first of Cool Cat Stops the Coronavirus. I wish I was making that up. Just look it up. It's very cringing to describe, but Cool Cat fights the coronavirus, and that's supposed to introduce Dirty Dog, and then this will be what leads to the film Cool Cat Stops a School Shooting. Continue.
This kind of ties into the new short film, which again, like the whole Felix thing was laughable, but he's trying to crowdfund the school shooting project on Indiegogo. He gets about maybe, I can't remember the exact number, but it was like close to like $7 or $8 grand. Turns around, changes the name of the project, and changes it to Cool Cat's Crazy Dream. Like that whole situation just reeks completely.
Oh, it totally reeks of it, and it still bothers me that not only did he do that bait and switch, but also too that he was still wanting to do a friggin' school shooting. I mean, my heart and prayers go out to those victims and the families and the teachers, and all of those people have to live through something like that. And why he would want to capitalize on something like that is just insane to me, and why he just thinks that some high-pitched character in some orange suit is going to be the Superman savior, and then, making a mockery of, the murderer who would go in and do something like that by putting it in some costume. I mean, it's twisted. I mean, I don't know why did he, in my opinion, if you're going to do, it's like, you know what, you need to stop, then okay, why not stopping date rape or just, sex trafficking? I mean, to me, it's just that deep of a subject where it's just, you don't go there, or if you're going to go there, you have to do it in a serious tone. You can't do it with costumed characters in this tone, it's just not going to come out right. I don't care who you are, it's just not going to come out right.
Especially with the reputation that he holds with not holding criticism very well. Like, he tends to refuse to listen to people's suggestions about how to approach any situation in general. So I don't understand.
Oh, yeah.
I don't understand how you can go forward knowing that there is a lot of issues in general with this topic and still try to pursue something that's going to trigger even more of an issue with it.
Absolutely. And then, like, the three of us are sitting here discussing it. Also, on top of that, like you said, Jason, putting it in a costumed character, he was going to, like, hook the bully character into doing this, but then it got changed to the dirty dog character that just got introduced.
Yep.
Like, that's supposed to be
Yep.
the freaking character that shoots a school up. It wouldn't be taken seriously. It would be mocked all over the place, and we do not need that.
And not only just the film itself mocked, but surprisingly, his little way, Derek Savage's way of advertising, doing this project before the coronavirus hit, when he was going to put this out before it started, but didn't, and now he still wants to do that. He was sitting up at a desk talking about this project and laughing in certain scenes as he was talking about it and telling people about the script he wrote and everything, like, oh, this is gonna be so cool, and the dirty dog got this. He got a slave up here. It's called Beaver, and oh, Beaver says I had such a fun time writing his part. Oh, shut up! No, I am not. No, I'm serious with that. Shut up, Savage! Really? That was just not funny. This, like they say, this is a serious topic here. And you want to make it in this colorful, humorous way. My God, Static Shock did a much better job with it. I know I said this before, but Static Shock did a better job with handling the crisis of a school shooting. Static Shock and even Family Matters. And Family Matters had Gerard White playing Steve Urkel with glasses and overalls, and that was more serious. Ugh.
No, we don't. No, we don't do that. And also, too, I mean, it's what little bit of dignity could possibly be left with that character, and I don't think there's much, would all be completely eradicated if this actually did get made, which I highly doubt it would.
Yeah, I agree. Same.
You'd be surprised with this.
And then what's sad too, I mean, I've often wondered, like, I mean, just even the other child actors, I mean, even kids being extras, it's like, and their parents, I mean, it's like, what would you tell? I just can't imagine parents just like, oh yeah, that's great, oh, you've got a few lines in this, school shooting movie, it's going to be fun for you, I don't know.
Yeah, that's a whole nother rabbit hole. Like, how do you tell kids involved in this film to reenact what actual kids have gone through?
And then oh, here comes the savior, here he is in his outfit. It's like, are you kidding? It's like, really?
What's up, Captain Orange? Really? Okay. Just,
that'd be a disgrace to Captain America.
I have no words. Like, I mean, I do, but I don't. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. And even too, and I had forgot about this, but my fiance had reminded me that she knows one of those Columbine survivors, and that guy can't walk. I mean, he's wheelchair bound for the rest of his life, and it's just like, you just think of something like that, and then you just think of these costume characters trying to save the day, trying to stop one each, save the day, and one's trying to stop the other one from shooting at the school. It's just like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the perfect word to describe it, honestly.
Yeah.
But let's try and, we've kind of gone pretty deep in that darkness right there. But we can kind of go away to another crazy part about it. Ironically, the whole ordeal with the Crazy Dream short, was that actually you in the film? Because I mean, you can tell that is not your voice.
But for full transparency to everybody listening out there, Jason, was this you in the costume?
That is me in the costume. That was shot in November of 2012. That is all unused footage from Hollywood, from the Hollywood Christmas Parade in 2012. I think some of that footage was on Saves the Kids, because I do remember him telling me he was going to cut a lot of the parade out for when he did Kids Superhero. And I haven't watched Saves the Kids or Kids Superhero all the way through it. I can't remember when, so I can't remember how much parade footage is where. But yeah, and the funny thing is too, the gentleman that's in there, the African American gentleman, I literally remember meeting him that day at Eric Garbage's apartment. He was the one that drove the convertible in the parade. It was literally just him, Garbage, and myself, all in that car.
Garbaging himself.
Exactly. Now, did you give consent for any of this footage to be reused?
No, I did not give any consent for that footage to be reused whatsoever.
Were you ever informed that this was going to happen?
Nope, never informed that any of this stuff was ever going to happen. In fact, I had kind of forgotten about that. And then until I had people were messaging me saying, "Hey, he's got this new short." And then as soon as I saw that first scene, I was like, "Wait a minute." And then I saw the rest of it, was just like, "Oh no, he actually did it. He actually repurposed footage again." And actually the green screen section where you see the character sitting in the chair, that was actually a green screen that was hanging up in his kitchen that I helped him put up. And then he had me sit in the chair on some other shoot and sit there and introduce, that whole dream sequence, which was literally shot 7 years ago.
And then he just takes all this, and it's very, very obviously Eric Garbage's voice, because we all know, if you're listening to this podcast and you heard the opening segment, there is a distinct difference between Jason and Eric Garbage's voice when it comes to playing this character.
One is good, the other one is garbage.
Yeah, exactly. So, it's very obviously not your voice. It's it blew my mind. It blew a lot of people's minds. It raised a bunch of questions. Meanwhile, to get further into these kind of things, dude, he never gave you top billing on any of this stuff.
No, and that was one of the things that always kind of rubbed me the wrong way. In fact, if you ever watching those, he would always bill me fifth, and he would always have the character billed first, playing himself. And then he only put my name on the box on one of them, which was the Find the Gun. And all of those are out of print because they hardly ever sold. In fact, I remember going to Garbage's apartment several times and seeing boxes and boxes of all of these unsold DVDs and books, by the way, I might add.
So he still has just a bunch of merchandise that's never been sold. Like he just...
Yeah. In fact,
oh my gosh. And to think, when he was doing that little copyright infringement, monetizing. Oh, they are, you are lied to, you are being milked like a big fat cow. And I know this ain't gonna hurt my Cool Cat brand because, just in the past few weeks, I've been selling a lot of Cool Cat merch. I'm just selling out of stuff. I had to put it in order for more Cool Cat DVDs, and I'm just selling out of everything. Yeah, those boxes of DVDs, you sure like you're selling out of stuff, huh? course, the little sales you probably have been making have come from, say, all of us that's been reviewing your stuff. And some of the people that probably purchase it just to have something to make themselves laugh. Like that song, make them laugh, make them laugh, make them laugh. Yeah! And again, reviewers. Like myself, Bob Shaw, I Hate Everything, the movie sucks, and several hundreds of other people that were, some of which were shown in that very special skit I reacted to a while back. I'm a reviewer, and my voice will be heard. Rawr!
We did this one kind of it wasn't a charity event. It was just some type of outdoor family event for the Burbank Police Department, and that's where that one PSA comes from, chief of the Burbank Police Department. And when we were there, he was trying to sell DVDs and stuff, and with every DVD that was sold, which only a few were sold, he was giving people books.
Good Lord.
I thought he was going to
so hardly that merchandise moved at all.
You know,
and
so in a way, it's like the Disney Vault, but it's the garbage vault.
Pretty much, yeah. That's pretty much exactly what it is.
We have unused footage. We have non-sold stock here in the garbage vault.
What does it look like? A trash can?
It's really sad too, because I mean, like, I don't know. There's probably maybe a couple of rabid fans that might pay an extra couple of bucks on eBay for some of those. I doubt it though, but you never know.
Well, I'll give it to you like this, Jason. Years ago, back in the early days of the internet, we once heard from one of Gabe's GEE tutorers that there was a person who literally paid right at hundreds of dollars on eBay for a used cheese sandwich. Let that sink in for a second, and you determine the meaning of that for yourselves.
Or it could be the most ironic thing, like 20 years from now, a DVD of his could be worth like thousands of dollars.
You really think it's going to be worth that?
No, but you never know.
I mean, yeah, monopoly money, but
because it doesn't exist anymore. It doesn't print, and only garbage releases it.
It seems like this person is just living in his own alternate reality, and it's just the most, like we've said it before, it's a train wreck, but it's the most glorious, like, bad train wreck to watch, and it's just
Well, if it's his own alternate reality, then maybe there's one reality where all this stuff might be successful for Savage, and maybe he's like a overlording dictator where people have no choice but to buy his stuff. Sort of like when Man Ray took over in an episode of SpongeBob. Hey, you're not chewing fast enough! Oh boy. Well, ironic that y'all would mention about this right after that Darkwing episode came up in DuckTales about alternate dimensions.
Just, it's a dumpster with flames in it on a train.
It's a garbage fire.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Well, I think one thing that I've never seen that adds to it is I have never worked with a writer/director that has ever made commercials of his own product in the movie that you're watching.
Yeah.
and then just have this almost like this Billy Mays type approach to filmmaking.
Wait, there's more.
With the writing, because the character would talk in the third person, I mean, it almost felt very much like propaganda films. It's like almost like the stuff that Stalin or like Hitler was showing to his people like in the 30s or something.
Dude, why were you on the same wavelength? I was thinking.
I Or
And Hitler at the exact same time you were talking about that.
Oh my God!
Yeah, and it's very odd, and it's like this weird infomercial that was somehow got made into features. It's just strange. I've never seen anything like it. I'm sure that most of the online community probably could say the same thing, and hopefully we never will see anything like that again.
I mean, just the gun safety video where he pins all of the characters' videos and merchandise and everything. He, like you said, he just Billy Mays the whole thing and just. Yeah, for a good 5 minutes?
Dude, yeah, and it was so cringe, too, because, I made a comment, I remember this comment, I said, if I'm watching, if I were legitimately watching this to not do a review on it, and I truly was buying into this, why as an adult would I want to see this gigantic tangerine cat in the middle of this video? It would take me completely out of it, and I would sit there going, did somebody, if it's almost like the VHS thing, somebody tapes over, a part of the movie, who dropped this clip in here? Was this an accident? How did this happen?
It's like if your child records over your wedding with cartoons.
Well, speaking of doing that kind of recording, there was one incident. I don't know how Gabe managed to do this, but when he was 3 years old once, he some kind of way had one of his mom's exercise tapes. And okay, so 1 minute, you're seeing them go and 1 and 2 and 3 and and every day. All of a sudden, static comes up, and it's the ABC Family Saturday morning lineup with Bugs Bunny and stuff. How? I have no idea how he did that. Because, like I say, he was 3 years old, and somehow he managed to record that on an exercise video. Oh boy.
Yeah, no, it's literally and that's the other thing too is that that was another thing I always found so jarring is that because of these, he would break the fourth wall, and it would take you out of the suspension of disbelief. It would take you out of the store. It's it's almost like in 50s television, like the Honeymooners is brought to you by, Kellogg's cereal. Here's Ralph. Kellogg's cereal was great. Don't you like it? It was how they did television in the 50s like that. It was kind of like that. It's just so bizarre, and it does. It takes you out of the story, and it's like, well, what's going on here? It's like, how do you get back in the story once you do that? I mean, once you lose the audience, you lose the audience. You can't get it back.
Exactly.
I mean, any stand-up comedian knows that.
Yeah, it's like now I don't know how to shoot a shotgun thanks to this infomercial.
Well, you get shot in the face.
You know what's funny? I don't know how much of this ever got out there, but originally in that scene where he's in the desert showing that gal how to shoot the shotgun, originally Mr. Bieber's face was on the target.
Yep.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that's.
And he removed it, and I can't remember how much of that got out, and people knew that, or it's so much has happened. It's kind of hard to remember which controversy is which controversy.
Exactly, dude.
And that's bad when you get to that point in this whole debacle. It's like, which controversy is which, and how bad is this one compared to the last one?
Exactly. And I feel like this is just like the one we're on now. It just seems like it's taken that cake again. It's taken it. And before we get into it, honestly, there were some things about as far as giving you top billing and stuff. Still, the guy Eric seems to create fake names for himself so he can give credits in these films when there's other people that.
Yes, in fact, too, the biggest one, which thank God no longer exists on IMDb, was Angel Hope. And what would happen was, I don't know how much the listeners know this, but if an actor does what do you call like body double work for the character, he gets labeled as the body double. Mm-hmm. He is not the actor. He's not playing that character. So there were times that he would get in the outfit because he couldn't pay me, and then he would just make up this name, Angel Hope, and give him credit for playing that character, even if it was just in like something simple, like walking away or something,
like a pickup,
just some simple shot like that, no dialogue, nothing. Yeah, it's very strange. I mean, like for instance, too, I did body double work on Shutter Island. I played Mark Ruffalo's body double for a few shots. I mean, literally, Martin Scorsese directed me, and he directed me via satellite. He wasn't there on set. But if you go on IMDb, it says, and you have to go down to the other crew section, it says, Jason Johnson, and whatever, Mark Ruffalo body double. I'm not credited as playing the Mark Ruffalo character. And in Eric Garbage's mind, that's like the way stuff should be. It's like, no, you're just a body double.
Well, since he played as a body double for Mark Ruffalo, wouldn't that be so cool if he was Mark Ruffalo's body double in the Avenger films where he played the Hulk? Oh boy, Jason Johnson gets to have some Hulk scenes. Oh boy, that would be pretty cool.
Happens all the time. Mm-hmm. I mean, so many times when you watch movies, if you see a close up of an actor's hand, that's not that actor's hand. That's a body double's hand. Yeah. And yes, you should credit that person for being the body double, but you don't give them full credit as if they played that character. That's just ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, what about him crediting people that are not in the movie?
Oh, well, that's an interesting story. All of these people are credited as producers that were never producers. For instance, the gentleman, his name is Art Knowles. If I mispronounce his name, it's like, I know his first name's Art. I think his last name is Knowles or Nails, something like that. Yeah. But he has literally never shown up on set to any of those movies. I've never met the man. I don't know what the man looks like, but yet he's credited as a producer. And the only reason why he is because he has that Harrier jet.
Oh, you mean the one from the PewDiePie movie pitch where he's like, we're going to have we're going to be the second film to have a Harrier jet in it, and it's going to have the cat on it. And you're just like, oh, God.
Yep. Yeah. And that was his whole thing. It's like he would just want to use these weird things that he could get a hold of and just somehow work that in. I mean, don't get me wrong, True Lies is a great movie, but that is the least thing I remember from that movie is that dang Harrier jet. That movie would have been great without the Harrier jet. You didn't need the Harrier jet in the movie True Lies.
No, you have Schwarzenegger, and that's enough.
No, you mean Schwarzenegger.
May the Schwartz be with you. Oh,
yeah.
At this point,
Arnold Schwarzenegger in Star Wars. Ugh, they told me enough. They told me that you killed my father. I am your father. No! How dare you!
It would have seemed just as ridiculous. It would have called the Harrier jet Art Knowles, like Art Knowles as the Harrier jet.
Literally. Yeah.
Walks up to the jet. Yep. Art? And you just hear clang, like he's knocking on it. Clang, clang. Art? Hello? Just, really? This is my good friend Art, right? Ting, ting, ting. All this stuff is so bizarre, we could not put it past Eric Garbage to
that.
Well, and also too, speaking of crediting, like I don't know if you know this, but on the box, how he has this, like this one fella that's been doctored that says, it's cooler than Barney the dinosaur. That guy rented a room in that house. He was Derek's roommate.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So, yeah.
There's a bar we have for ridiculousness, and it just gets raised with every line.
Yeah. It's just so strange. And then nothing against that guy, Art Anthony, but that guy Art Anthony didn't win an Emmy. He was nominated for an Emmy, and he always puts on their Art Anthony Emmy Award winner. And he was nominated for an Emmy for prosthetic work on Star Trek Deep Space Nine with Scott Bakula. I mean,
oh, okay, maybe there would be a shot if Dave actually wanted to work for Savage, with the whole Emmy thing in, requirements. Yeah, well, so we don't have to actually have an Emmy, just say we're nominated for an Emmy for, best art direction, or, oh, how about this? Best guest writer for Bob Show, the Emmy winner Gabriel Johnson. That could work. And just in case he asks to see it, we could probably order one like from eBay or something like that. Maybe like some Emmy off online or something. That'll work.
That was 20 years ago, for gosh darn sakes. I mean, nothing against the show or his work, but it's like, you were nominated for an Emmy, and it was for prosthetic work. I mean, nothing against that, but it's like, it's just this, it's this twisted fact that he like keeps slapping on the DVDs.
But he did bring his Emmy, so that's why. That's why that didn't happen. That's why it didn't happen. Yeah. Because remember, you have to bring the Emmy. That's your credential.
Yep, you got to bring the Emmy. Yep.
So, yep. I wonder if that's the first question on the list of. It's like, so first of all, do you have an Emmy? That is the literal that is the prerequisite for casting. Yeah. If you say yes, you're hired.
Well, and I think that was always some of those prerequisites. I think that, and I think this is true with a lot of people. You want to work with people that have done more than you, but at the same time too, I think he would just surround himself just with just people like that, just so it would help give more legitimacy to stuff. And which, of course, so many other filmmakers do that. That is understandable. At the same time too, though, you can't just because somebody else has a little bit of legitimacy, that just is not going to give, the film the credibility that it needs. It needs to also have the story structure and just all of those other things in line too to make it a good film. You can't just go off of so much credibility from something else they did.
Or if they're a Harrier
slap it on there.
Yeah, if they're a Harrier.
Yeah, of course.
That's the two prerequisites: Emmy Award and a Harrier Jet. You have to be one or own the other. Yeah. And if you got both, you're hired immediately, and you get credit on everything. You don't have to be there, but Yeah, there you go. Be there. Yeah. So, now to kind of move on towards the end of all this mess, you did an interview recently on a channel. It got struck down by Eric Garbage on YouTube, who is infamous also for throwing out false copyright claim allegations on a lot of content creators, and this is just one of the latest happenings in it. So this happens, and then a little bit later, the Crazy Dream video comes out, and you took it down also, and it's gone around, that people think, this was like a revenge tactic. We happen to know, and we've researched it very thoroughly, we happen to know that you have a legitimate legal claim behind this. Is that true?
Absolutely, I do. And also, as was said in my statement, I absolutely do not condone any of these copyright claims in unless people actually have a true, legitimate claim. This has just been going on far too long of just this striking down for people for no apparent reason, just purely out of spite. As I said, I don't condone people just going after people like that in a vengeful way, just for any reason, just to be vengeful.
Absolutely.
And that has happened now twice to the interviews. It's hurt my. It's also been attacking my friend Ryan in his channel with that, and I don't agree with it whatsoever. And he is not the only person this happened to. This has happened to several people. I mean, these type of shenanigans, as everyone knows, has been going on since what? Maybe summer of 2015, maybe late spring. I mean,
absolutely.
4.5 years now, practically.
Yeah, and we're not going to go into detail on like the claim and like the legitimate. It's legitimate. We won't go into the legalities of it, obviously, but just for transparency for everybody listening, like it is 100% true, and Cody and I completely back you up 100%.
Oh, no doubt. Like, from what we've seen, what we've researched into the whole entire picture, we do agree that, a lot of this is not for what he says it is. It's all based on the fact that he cannot handle criticism of his work. Mm-hmm. Therefore, he has to find some way to take it down so that his image, quote, doesn't get harmed or hurt in any sort of way. And that's not how it works.
And this is all done in fair use, parody, transformative narrative, like everything that you can, possibly call it is 100% okay to do.
Right.
Yeah. Well, and then what's also sad too is on a sidebar of that, the complete bait and switch that the fans have to go through. I mean, I feel for the fans. I mean, that is the one thing that I know people realize, but especially with independent films, there is no studio, no producer. It's like pushing for it. I mean, this was all purely found by fans. I mean, this goes all the way back to the original YMS video and that being popular, and just people starting to pay attention and buy these things. I mean, this is something that the fans made popular, and for them to just have that bait and switch done to them time and time after again, and then these same fans who just want to make an innocent review, nothing more, just get their channel taken down. I mean, it's the equivalent of some director back in the heyday if Siskel and Ebert gave them a bad review of him trying to shut down the channel that Siskel and Ebert are on. That's literally what this is, except it's done nowadays time online versus on network television on some film review show, because really those shows don't really exist anymore.
Yeah, and the last time I remember, we do have freedom of speech.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And on top of that, even, to make even more of a point, Eric Garbage is extremely selective about this because, in attacking certain channels, there are still other channels out there that, do the same thing, but he doesn't touch them, much like Felix's review.
Well, and that's the other thing, and so many people have brought up the fact of that because that man is one of the top YouTubers. Yeah. So to him, it was like, oh, well, why am I going to attack him? He's like one of the top YouTubers. I'll get him in my next film. So, and that's exactly what that was about. And everyone has pointed that out, and everyone is smart enough to understand that and point that out.
Yep.
Or basically like Carlton in The Fresh Prince does to a lot of people, especially in the first few seasons. Suck up. Yeah, suck up to the ones that, are higher up and, oh, I could possibly get something out of these people, so I'm gonna suck up to them. Oh boy.
I think it's more along the lines that he cannot take down someone as high end as he is because, I mean, look at his following. Like, he's been doing this so long that there's so many people that back him up. Mm-hmm. So I feel like he takes it in his own account to take down people that he knows he can take down. Mm. Like, they're less of a threat, basically.
Absolutely.
Yep. I remember when all of that first started, and I couldn't fathom it. I literally just couldn't put it together. I'm just like, what? Really? It's like there's just no way. It's like, and it was really happening, and it's just crazy. I mean, it was just I've never heard of anybody doing anything like that whatsoever.
Yeah, we're still just as thrown back about it as you are too.
Yeah, and I mean, and that's a tough thing, and I will say, because I know that there were people that made fun of my performance, made fun of the voice and whatnot, and when everything first came out, it was kind of tough to read those things, but as I've gotten older and matured, I mean, I've just realized, like, you know what, people are going to have their opinions, and one of the best things to do is just ignore it, or to just make light of it, or heck, even comment to those people and say, hey, it's like, hey, thanks for watching anyway, thanks for your suggestion. Next time I do this, I'll do it differently.
Yeah,
I mean, and I know that can be a difficult thing to do sometimes, but I mean, it's just the way it is. I mean,
yeah, I will admit, yes, that is very much true what Jason is saying right now. And, even with our stuff, one of the things we definitely encourage you guys listening to us and, what we put out is to definitely comment on it. And we do realize that by encouraging that, the comments are going to be different. Some of you are going to like what we're doing, and some of you are going to be like, oh, I don't like that, and probably express that just like the ones expressing that they like us. It's going to be good, and some is going to be bad. And it's not always easy to stomach the bad stuff. I mean, because, you got some people that are just really cruel, more so than not constructive criticism, but some people that are just outright mean and cruel. But, people are going to be who they are. And so you just got to take it, the ones that, as Cool Cat stated, when the meanies come out, just ignore them. And as for the constructive criticism, see what you can make of it to make what you do better, and move on with your life. It's just what we have to do, and we've gotten a lot of constructive criticism starting this whole thing from different ones, and ones that follow us really closely.
I don't care if you're a filmmaker, an actor, a musician. I mean, no matter what you do, somebody's not going to like it, and it sucks. But it's just you just got to live with it, man.
It's on any creative outlet, so and
any creative outlet,
and even to back you, and even to back you up further on what you just said. I mean, I know you heard some of the material we've done before, especially regarding this, and heck, even in the show opening, Cody and I did the voice because we think it's hilarious, and we absolutely love it, and it's endearing, and it's you Jason actually get it, you get it, and we appreciate that so much about you, and we can't thank you enough for being so down to earth about all of it, honestly.
Right. No, I appreciate it, man, and it's I mean, it's the world already has enough angry people sitting on their computers spouting out hate. I don't need to join.
Exactly. Or two doofballs sitting behind a microphone talking about pop culture. I mean, Oh man. Well, man, we just kind of bring this out to a close. I mean, it's a lot to unpack, dude. We know this was kind of a turbulent time in your life, here and there. I mean, mostly turbulent, we would assume. And you're closing the door on this chapter, as you said in your statement that you had read. Are you finally, moving on from this? Are you happy to just kind of close the book on this chapter in your life, or turn the page on this chapter in your life and move forward?
Oh, I'm extremely happy about it. I mean, just the opportunity that's been presented about getting the interviews, the people that have contacted me, just all the support that my fiance has given me, and just helping me move along to get this door closed. I'm very happy to get it closed, and I know it's probably a little disappointing for some people, but And just like anybody else in life, you just have to just move on from situations. And me personally, I think it's just best for this just to kind of move on. I mean, if I would have stuck around any longer, I mean, I think those things would have just gotten dragged even further down in the toilet.
Yeah.
So it's kind of good to get out while the kitten was good.
Yeah, don't blame you there.
Now,
Yeah.
amongst all the experience that you've had from day one until now, are you planning on doing any form of voice acting in the future or currently or anything about that?
I would like to get some stuff, have my fiance help me set up do some research and put the voice out there on some apps. I've been asked about Fiverr and do some stuff like that. So I'd like to get that set up eventually. As far as pursuing voice work on another avenue, that's really just not something that's really on the horizon for me. I don't have an agent right now or anything, so all of that stuff, you would really need an agent to get the better work, and I'm working too much full time now to really kind of pursue a whole lot of that, so it's still kind of on the back burner, so to speak.
Yeah, it's understandable.
Yeah.
So, do you have anything, on a final note, do you have anything that you want to tell your fans, people that have followed you and support you? Is there anything you want to let them know? Because, I mean, this being, like you said, this will be your last interview. And, before we get into that, it's an honor. Honestly, it really is an honor to Cody and I both to be able to speak to you and to give you this space to let all this out.
Yeah, because, when he told me that this was going to happen, I literally just, grinned because it was so refreshing to finally have that kind of opportunity with someone like you who's actually been through both the good and the bad of this whole situation. So
no, and I appreciate you guys giving me the opportunity to do that, and you guys have just been so nice and kind-hearted about it. We've been so much on the same page about all this, and it's been great. So it feels good to me because one of the things for me that I was so worried about for so long, and I'm still worried about, is because Garbage had pushed himself so severely on people with so much shameless promoting. It really has left me extremely leery about doing stuff, about even putting myself out there with just anything else, because I feel like, and I'm not being paranoid when I say this, but I feel like that I would have a microscope on me because I don't want any of my actions to mirror any of his actions whatsoever. So I'm probably being almost too cautious about stuff, but that's just the way I feel about it. So
and there's nothing wrong with that.
It's understandable completely.
Yeah.
It's completely understandable.
Yeah. But no, I would, if I got a chance, I would like to thank all of my fans for standing by me. I mean, it is sad to go, but I know that everybody out there will understand why I've decided to end it now. I lead a very private life, and I don't have social media at all. And my fiance and I do just want to move on with this and just not have any garbage in our life.
Time to take out the garbage, right?
Yep, taking the garbage out.
Yep. But I'm still going to be around, and like I said, I'm going to be looking to doing some of the apps, get into some voiceover apps and whatnot, doing the OG voice. And also, with that, on an unrelated note, there are still a couple of movies I've got. They're on my IMDb, still in post-production, that'll be out. Hopefully, people want to go see them. There's a couple things that are on Amazon Prime that people can watch me in, and go on my YouTube page, go on IMDb. There's stuff on there, so yeah.
We'll link your YouTube and your IMDb in the show notes below if anybody wants to check all that out. We'll hook them up with all the links for that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I would also, too, just like to give a special thanks to every single person who's just emailed me nice comments. I mean, it's been just so amazing to get to talk to so many people. And I mean, to be honest, it's like that is the true reason to do any of this stuff is to be able to entertain people. Whether you're playing music, doing a podcast, whether you're a comedian, an actor, whatever, you want to entertain people. And then when you get to talk to those people and they tell you, hey, you were funny, you played this character well, whatever. I mean, it's beautiful and it's great. So what the little bit of fan base that I have gotten out of this has just been so incredible. And it's really been worth it despite all the crazy malarkey that I've had to put up with. So, yeah, it's been great.
Man, we'd like to thank you again just for putting a smile on our face. Like, and I feel like we speak for, everybody that's listening and everybody that has commented and stuff. We all thank you, Jason, very much for giving us something, even like you said, even if it was cringy or even if it was crazy, like giving us something to smile, laugh at, and just have a good time with. We all thoroughly appreciate it.
Yeah, it didn't really feel like an interview. It felt more like just getting to know you as a person. So, I mean, like on a personal level. So it felt really rewarding on so many grounds.
Mm-hmm. But I appreciate that, and that was the whole idea. It's all I ever wanted to try to do was just come off of just like, hey, I may have done some weird stuff, but I'm actually a pretty okay guy if you just want to talk.
Yeah, right.
And it's very apparent.
Yeah, that's the best I can say with that. And I guess too, and it goes back to that before. It's just really, it's just left me just so kind of leery about stuff like that, about just coming out and talking to people, just because of garbage's crazy shenanigans. And like I said, I don't want to be compared to any of that. So that's my 2 cents.
Yeah, well, we certainly don't feel there's any comparison there. Like, you exceed above that in so many ways.
Yes.
So. But
thank you, I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
And I appreciate you guys for reaching out too, because I mean, and that was the other thing too, was I never wanted to look like I was fishing to like, hey, talk to me, kind of thing. So it's been nice to have, people like yourselves just like come forward and just, want to talk to me. I mean, it's great. I mean, it's beautiful. It's like, wow, it's like people are actually interested. This is really cool. It's like, actually talk to some people. That's just great.
Very legitimate, yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. And I'm, I speak for Cody and I both. We both say, like, we're glad it worked out. We're glad we got reached out to and got put in touch with you. And this has been fun, man. We really appreciate you taking time because we know you work a lot. We really appreciate you coming on to the show and hanging out with us and talking to us and just having a good time. Really,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I appreciate everybody for listening. I'm glad it's hopefully this will close the book on all of this stuff. Hopefully a lot of these behind the scenes questions got answered or behind the scenes stories got confirmed. Because I mean, I know for myself, I mean, my fiance has pointed this out, but I'm certainly one of those people that reads all the IMDb trivia. Like Fight Club's one of my favorite movies. David Fincher's like my absolute favorite filmmaker, so I like read all of this stuff about him and just all this weird, useless trivia that only fans would care about. So for me, it's like I kind of like to think that like I kind of opened up about some weird stories that only the fans would care about.
Oh, you did. And even those that are listening for the first time for this, or those that have been with Cody and I since we started this, like, these are all interesting stories. Mm-hmm. Like, they really are, and that's the kind of stuff we strive for. Like,
yeah.
And now,
and I was gonna say, and that's the other thing, like, for you guys, I mean, I couldn't even imagine what's got to be like for you guys on your end. I mean, you guys have constantly got to do research and like find interesting stories, or then if you find a story that's not that interesting, okay, how can we make this interesting? How can we present this in a new light to make it interesting, or to where it fits into what we're talking about? So that's a whole other headache for people like yourselves that I appreciate and admire. So yeah, so
thank you very much.
Absolutely, man.
But now we close the book on Black Bro Tank Top.
Thank you for putting up with me.
Dude, it was not even putting up. It was a pleasure.
Oh yeah, it was a joy.
But yeah, let's go ahead right now and officially shut the door on, what'd you say?
Black Bro Tank Top.
Black Bro Tank Top, Rambro. Let's take out the garbage. Let's be done with it, and hopefully everybody had their questions answered and some facts were brought to light that people didn't know about, and hopefully everybody can just move forward.
And I'm putting the book in the vault right now.
Okay, put it in the garbage vault. We're done.
Put it in the garbage. Absolutely.
Yes. All right, Jason. Well, we're gonna let you go, man. We know you're a busy dude outside of this, so we again.
All right, man.
Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot, guys.
Keep in touch. We'll holler at you later.
I will.
All right. Bye.
All right. Bye.
Well, that there is the interview. Hope it say so. Just go in the comment section and tell us what you think about all those secrets revealed. I know some of these were mentioned in previous reactions and reviews of Cool Cat, and also like some of the live streams of Cool Cat Kid Superhero and the Gun Self-Defense video. But yep, you got them all here. Pretty much the full cake. With some icing on top. So definitely let us know what you think about that in the comment section. Also, hope y'all like the opening and everything. Also, one other thing. Anybody that know if Jason Johnson is listening to this, we definitely would love to have a follow-up to this video by hearing from you. Yeah, maybe, possibly have like an interview of, well, not so much with the Cool Cat stuff, but, well, I mean, if you want to, but mostly, like a follow-up interview, like maybe, what you might be doing now, or, how things are going for you and everything, for your fans and stuff. Yeah, something like that, just, chat, or, also, what you think of what we do, and, other, just pretty much just chat, So, yeah, definitely if you're listening, Jason Johnson, definitely hit us up and let's get together and talk for a little bit. Or anybody that knows him, get in contact with him and, let's make it happen. And we'll see you later. Take care. Bye-bye.